So let me review briefly. Let me review last couple of classes. And in the first class, I gave you preliminary remarks, such as the relationship between Shinran and the larger sutra. Then I discussed the introduction. Larger sutra has two introductions, but general introduction, doctrinal introduction is the most important part of the entire text of the larger sutra, I think. And so I spent some time in explaining the doctrinal introduction. The section is so important because it has a theme. The introduction established the theme of the story of Dharmakara, or the theme of the text itself. So this introduction describes the dialogue between student and the teacher, Ananda and Shakyamuni. Buddhas of the past, present, and future contemplate each other. How can this present Buddha, Shakyamuni, how can Shakyamuni not contemplate the other Buddhas? For what reason does his countenance look so majestic and brilliant? So this is the question. See, Ananda is so shaken by the power of the light, radiance coming from Shakyamuni. And this power of light is shaking Ananda. And this new awareness, this kind of, we could call this Shinjin or Buddhahood, it's coming out, being taken by Shakyamuni. Okay? Ananda has a big question. Okay? What are you? See, Shakyamuni, what are you? You tremendous power coming to my direction. And Ananda says, I heard that the Buddhas look wonderful when he thinks about all humanity as Buddhas, and when he feels that all humanity are doing nembutsu to you. See, when Buddha does nembutsu toward people, and he feels that people are doing nembutsu. So when Buddha or Buddhas are doing nembutsu toward the Buddhas, and they are in turn these Buddhas. So isn't this Buddhas mutually think, is this not happening to you now? And is that why you have this such strong power of radiance, light coming out of you? So this is a question, and Shakyamuni is very glad, because Shakyamuni thought that this is the most important question human beings can ask. And Shakyamuni is pleased because he's going to give the answer to this question. And Sutra said Shakyamuni appeared in this world to talk about this teaching, or the answer that Shakyamuni is going to give. So Shinran considered, this section very important. Shinran considered this the most important part of the sutra. And so anyway, so this is a kind of starting point. Okay, this is the meeting between historical people. Okay, Shakyamuni is a historical person, Ananda is a historical. So a historical student asks a question to the historical teacher, and now Shakyamuni is going to say, yes, this is the right. Ananda came up with a very good question, and Shakyamuni wants to say, but he doesn't say the word yes. So instead of saying the word answer is yes, but instead of saying yes, he talks about this story. Dharmakara meeting with his teacher Lokeshvara Raja and awakening his desire and performs 5 kinds of practices, and he become the Buddha exactly, like his teacher. Okay, so this is the story. First volume of largest sutra. This story, Dharmakara awakens his aspiration, worships, praise teacher, and makes vows here, and he fulfilled these vows. Okay, we'll talk about 48 vows probably next week, and to fulfill these vows, the number 4. This is a practice. This is number 4. Actualization of vows. Okay? Vows are nothing but aspiration. Okay, so he fulfills this the Buddhahood. This is the Amida Buddhahood. This is the Pure Land, and when he fulfills his Buddhahood and Pure Land, he wants to actually these symbolize merits. What is merit? This is like a wisdom or compassion. Okay, so these symbolize. Okay, these stories, Dharmakara, Amida Buddha, Pure, these are all symbols. Okay, symbols. These fictional characters. Okay, these are literally device. Okay, and actually, Dharmakara symbolizes wisdom or aspiration. Pure Land symbolizes world of wisdom, sphere of wisdom, things like that. So anyway, he realized this Buddhahood and the Pure Land, and these are symbolizing all kinds of virtues and merits. Then what Dharmakara wants is this number 5. This is the goal. Okay, he doesn't create these virtues not to enjoy them, okay, but to give them to the people, okay, in the suffering world. Okay? So this is something he wants to give. He wants to actualize this in the historical context. Okay, transferring merit means actualizing these virtues or merits in the historical context. Okay, so that's how the first volume talk about this. I told you, first volume talks about this side, the hospital, Buddhahood, and virtues, the medicine. Okay, so these are given to here, Shakyamuni, and Shakyamuni is, in essence, Shakyamuni wants to say, Ananda, your question is very good. My answer is yes. See, I am embodying, okay, what Shakyamuni wants to say, I am embodying these wisdoms or virtues. See? So originally, these virtues come from Amida Buddha. Shakyamuni would say, I never created these things. I'm a recipient of these. See? Many kalpas ago, once upon a time, there was a seeker by the name Dharmakara, and he became Buddha. He prepared these wonderful merits, virtues such as wisdom, compassion, and gave it to us. That's why historical Buddhas appeared. So that all of us graduate from this, or like medical school. Okay, this is a medical school. So all of us went there and became full-fledged doctors and came back and established our own hospital, something like that. That's how Shakyamuni is explaining where this radiance comes from. Radiance light, see, Ananda is asking, is that Shakyamuni wants to say, I didn't create any of this radiance. I didn't create this power. Say, I received them. This power comes from Dharmakara. Okay? And this, so the Shakyamuni talking about the origin or the fountainhead of the Buddhist history. See, this is the beginning of the Dharma. This is the beginning of Buddhism. This Shakyamuni is saying, I didn't create Buddhism. See, Buddhism existed when humans began, when Dharmakara. So it's a symbol, okay? And deepest human aspiration was fulfilled. Since then, wisdom has been transmitted to me, and this the fountain head. See, that's how Shakyamuni is explaining. This is Mahayana view of Shakyamuni. This is so different from Hinayana. Hinayana Shakyamuni is a founder. He started Buddhism. And that's the Buddha Ananda was worshiping yesterday. But today's Shakyamuni is a student, worshipper. See, he's worshiping Amida Buddha. He's learning from Amida Buddha. See, so that's the difference. Okay. Anyway, that's the outline of the story where we are going to read. Okay. So I thought it better I give you some kind of outline. Okay. So that's what I discussed in the first class. And in the second class last week, I started to get into this story. Okay, story. See, this is the story. Okay, and this is not the historical. I told you, Amida Dharmagara are not the historical people. Okay, it's Shakyamuni tells a story to Ananda. This is a story. Okay, talking about kind of myth. Okay, myth is very important because it tells us something, we cannot understand within the historical context. This is a kind of providing like a principle, okay, universal spiritual basis of all Buddhas or something like that. In order to describe something universal, we have to use a symbol, okay, symbol. So anyway, so we got into this story, and once upon a time, story begins. Once upon a time, and king met the teacher, and he was deeply moved. So he worshipped and praised. So last week we started to study this praise. Okay, praise. This is a Tambutsuge. Okay, we are in the midst of Tambutsuge. We read the first half of verse 4. Okay, then. Today we are supposed to go to the verse 5, okay? But eventually today we'll go to these verses, okay? 5, 6, 7 remaining verses. I want to discuss them. But here I want to digress and discuss something else, something very important. I like to talk about the wisdom, okay? Wisdom. Wisdom is the hero of the story, okay? Wisdom is the hero of the story. Or wisdom is the protagonist in this story, okay? So without understanding the meaning of the wisdom and study this text, we just understand the plot of the story. That's not so important unless we understand the meaning of wisdom that really liberates us. We are not understanding anything of the Buddhism, okay? We are not just reading a novel or a fictional story, okay? It's a symbolic story, and this is the story of Buddha's wisdom, okay? So let me digress a little bit and talk about this wisdom today, okay? And if we have understand this nature of the wisdom in Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, I think you have easier time understanding or deciphering the meaning of this story. Okay, and after studying wisdom, we come back to Tambutsuge. Okay, Tambutsuge. That's what I want to do today. Okay, I'm going to talk about two types of wisdom. Okay, two types of wisdom. Mahayana Buddhism teaches us. But before we get to that, I want to talk about the life of Shakyamuni, okay? Life of Shakyamuni. We can see two types of Buddhahood, two types of Buddhahood in Shakyamuni. And we can see two types of wisdom in Shakyamuni. So as a starting point, I like to briefly talk about the life of Shakyamuni. And we can see the two types of Buddhahood, and two types of wisdom in Shakyamuni. Okay, so let me begin from the Shakyamuni's life. Okay, we all know that Shakyamuni spent 6 years in all kinds of practices. He even picked up the ascetic practices. But after spent 6 years in performing various practices, he renounced all of them. He renounced all of them, and he started to meditate under a tree. Then what was he doing under the tree? And he was meditating. There are all forms of meditations in this world, okay? Yogic meditation, transcendental meditation. Actually, Shakyamuni took up all kinds of meditation practice before. He threw them away. But now, okay, he again sat under the tree and meditated. Then, how is this meditation different from previous meditations he took up? I think it's very important to know, okay? Buddhism is nothing but self-examination. Okay, every time, every opportunity I have to talk about Buddhism, I emphasize this. Okay, Buddhism is nothing but asking one question: what am I? What am I? See, so Shakyamuni was asking this one question. Okay, we cannot define Buddhism in any other way. Okay, Buddhism is discovering self, knowing self, and discovering self. That's all there is in Buddhism. Okay, that's what Shakyamuni was doing. Okay, and so finally, when he was 35, he didn't meditate a long time. Legend tells us, okay, like 1 week or so he meditated, and he attained enlightenment or awakening. Okay, so then what was the content of his awakening? He discovered. It said that he discovered the truth of conditional arising, conditional arising, and the truth of conditional arising means that things exist, all things exist because of causes and conditions. Nothing is staying same. Everything is impermanent. Everything is in a state of flux, moving, changing, flowing. Okay, so causes and conditions are creating all kinds of things. Okay, so when Shakyamuni understood it, he attained enlightenment. That means that Shakyamuni's time, okay, people thought that this Atman, okay, this is the self, okay, self, and this, I can give you two characteristics. This is the permanent, and this is independent. So permanent substance, this unchanging, permanent, and independent, not depending on others. Okay, this exists by itself. This is like a soul. Okay, so this was believed, and Shakyamuni thought he had this one. Okay, but in his meditation, he examined, what am I? What is this? Do I have something permanent in myself? Do I have something independent in myself? This was a question he had, and but through self-examination, okay, he realized there's no such thing. He realized that this doesn't exist, okay, because of conditional arising. Everything is conditionally arisen. So if things conditionally arisen, having this something substantial, independent, permanent, that's impossible. Okay, everything is in the state of flux arises because it causes conditions. Then this cannot exist. So Shakyamuni came to the conclusion this doesn't exist. So he attained enlightenment, and he was very happy, okay, because he was liberated from this substantial thing he thought he had, and he thought that this was the cause of difficulty. If you think something is fixed, something should be same, you have to bump into the truth of impermanence. Everything is changing. So if you want to maintain something unchanging, it's very difficult and impossible. So that's the cause of suffering, he thought. So when now that he realized this doesn't exist, he felt relief from this. So this is called selflessness, the anatman, selflessness. So he was very happy, and he was enjoying this joy of selflessness, and he enjoyed it for some time. Then the Brahman, the highest god of the Brahmanism, appeared before him, and this god asked Shakyamuni, "No, oh, you attained enlightenment. Now, why don't you stand up and go back to the world of suffering, and share your wisdom with those suffering people?" And Brahma asked Shakyamuni to go back to the suffering world. But Shakyamuni said, no, if I go back and teach my wisdom, they are really confused. So none of them will understand my wisdom. So I don't like to do that. And he refused to teach. But sometime later, legend tells us that Shakyamuni changed his mind, and he decided to go back to the people and to teach. So that happened. Okay, so since he returned to the world of suffering, started to teach until until he died, age 80. He worked very hard in helping other people. Okay, that's a kind of brief description of his life. Okay, now let me talk about the two types of Buddhahood. Okay, two types of Buddhahood that we can see in Shakyamuni. Okay, there are two types of Buddhahood. Okay, so the first type of Buddhahood is that he left this world of suffering, okay, samsara. And he went to the world of nirvana, enlightenment, okay, nirvana. So this is enlightenment. He became a Buddha here, okay, Buddha. And he stayed here enjoying enjoyed this selflessness. See, he was liberated from this world of suffering, so he was very happy. He enjoyed it. Okay. But after a while, he decided to go back to the world of suffering. So something happened here. See, this is the dividing line. Before this, his decision to teach, he was this static Buddha. And after he stood up and went back here, this is the dynamic Buddha, or sitting Buddha. He was just sitting here, enjoying peace of mind. Okay? But now he stood up, and this is the standing Buddha. So sitting Buddha, static Buddha is here, and this is the dynamic and standing and walking Buddha. See, so we can see two types of Buddhahood here. Two types of Buddhahood, okay, static Buddha and dynamic Buddha. Static Buddha, Shakyamuni's Buddhahood before his decision to teach, leaving the world of samsara, human, and going to the world of nirvana, okay, and attained enlightenment. Okay, and this is a sitting Buddha. Okay, but if he enjoyed the peace of mind here, this is the world of individual happiness. Well, if Shakyamuni had stayed only in this dimension and would not get into this dimension, Shakyamuni would have become a Hinayana Buddha, Lona Buddha. It's a Pratyeka Buddha called, Sanskrit word Pratyeka Buddha, individual Buddha. He must stay as an individual Buddha, never become the Mahayana Buddha. Okay, so the Lona Buddha. When Ananda saw Shakyamuni yesterday, see, that yesterday Shakyamuni was this kind of Buddha. Ananda was seeing this Hinayana Buddha yesterday, so far removed, like a peak of the mountain, see, so divine or something like that. See? But today Shakyamuni is kind of very democratic, one of us, see, and sharing the same suffering with us. See? So this is the Mahayana Buddhism that Ananda is seeing. Okay? Dynamic Buddha. Okay? This Buddha is the Buddha after his decision to teach. Okay? And he is standing Buddha. And he left previously he left samsara. Now he's leaving world of nirvana, or world of peace, and returning to the world of samsara. See, identify himself with these suffering people. And he's this is very important, okay? This is a Buddha becoming a bodhisattva. This is the bodhisattva process. This is a bodhisattva process, okay? This bodhisattva is from samsara to nirvana, but this bodhisattva is from nirvana to samsara, see? When the Buddha works among people, he is called bodhisattva. Okay, so this is a Buddha as a perfect bodhisattva, Mahayana bodhisattva. So the bodhisattva Dharmakara, story of Dharmakara symbolizes this. Okay, so that actually Dharmakara is not the bodhisattva like this. See? You may be accustomed to think that bodhisattva, this is bodhisattva. This is the regular concept of bodhisattva, okay, from delusion to the world of enlightenment. But Mahayana Buddhism talks about another bodhisattva. Okay? This is the bodhisattva Buddha becomes. Okay? This may be not easy to understand, but the Mahayana Buddhism talks about so that I've been telling in the story of Dharmakara. A Buddha is a bodhisattva, and bodhisattva is a Buddha. Do you remember I said that when Buddha Lokeshvara Raja was listener, Buddha Lokeshvara Raja was doing Nembutsu. Okay? This Buddha is doing Nembutsu. Okay? We think, oh, we do the Nembutsu, but see, this Hinayana Buddha doesn't do Nembutsu to people, okay? But Mahayana Buddha is a student, worshiping, respecting all humanity. See, that's the very important part of it. So now you know the differences between two types of Buddhahood. Okay. Now let me get into the two types of wisdom. Okay, two types. That's like a main topic I want to discuss. Okay, meaning of wisdom in this story of Dharmakara. Okay, wisdom in Buddhism means understanding the truth of conditional arising within the context of the self. Okay, this is I think the best way to define the meaning of wisdom in Buddhism. Okay, as I told you, the truth that Shakyamuni discovered is truth of conditional arising. Okay? So wisdom means understanding the truth of conditional arising. That is the meaning of wisdom in Buddhism. But we have to be more specific. Okay? Wisdom means this understanding the truth of conditional arising within the context of the self, here. We can see things are moving and changing, or everything is caused to exist by conditions. So we can see things that easily outside things, okay? Everything in the state of flux, being caused by conditions. That's truth of conditional. But seeing that outside ourselves is another thing, okay? even the scientists, all scientists will tell us that everything outside are moving and changing. The causes and conditions are there to make things to exist. Scientists know that, but knowing this truth outside us is kind of scientific truth. That's not the Buddhist truth. Okay, Buddhist truth is a subjective truth. It's a truth we have to discover here. So if we don't understand this truth in this, I am conditionally arisen. Subject should be I. Okay, myself is conditionally arisen. Okay, if we know that, we can be said to know this truth. Okay, I hope you understand the differences. Okay, objectively understanding the truth is a scientific truth. Okay, that's not the Buddhist truth. Okay, so I emphasize this point. Okay, so anyway, that's the meaning of wisdom in Buddhism. So then now let me explain the two types of wisdom. First one is a basic wisdom. Okay, basic wisdom, and it's a Sanskrit word prajna, and the second wisdom is called subsequently acquired wisdom. It's Sanskrit word jnana, and Amida Buddha symbolizes these two types of wisdom. Okay, so far, I've been telling you that Amida is a symbol of wisdom, and now you may have thought that one type of wisdom, but no, two types of wisdom. Okay, let me explain. Okay, and first wisdom. Okay, first wisdom is this way. I was talking about this. Okay, this is something substantial. Okay, so Shakyamuni meditated. Okay, before he attained enlightenment, he meditated. Do I have something permanent, independent? Okay, and that was the question. That was the question he was meditating on under a tree, and he gradually realized. Okay, like this. He looked in himself and what am I? And self consists of body and mind. Okay? Body and mind. So he examined his body. Do I have something permanent in my body? See, and he immediately realized my body is a whole bunch of causes and conditions. Okay? This body exists because of the things I've eaten, okay, like meat or rice or fish or whatever. Okay? Things outside, see, outside myself are taken in and assembled here, and those things outside are these are causes, conditions are forming what I call my body. If these components are taken away from me, then my body doesn't exist. It's assemblage of the things that exist outside. This is the kind of assemblage. See, so gather causes a condition for me. So it's not difficult to understand. So this body is not permanent, not independent. See? So immediately, and he thought about his mind. Then how about my mind? My mind is also caused to exist. What are the causes and conditions of my mind? All kinds of information, ideas I received from my teachers, parents, friends, from all medias, books I read, they provide all kinds of ideas and concept things like that. Without them, how can I have mind? See, all the things I learned are forming my mind. Then, just like my body, see, there's no permanent substance. There's no independent substance. Everything I'm dependent on causes condition. See, so that everything about me is called body and mind. See, if body and mind are totally an assemblage of things that exist outside, then I don't have myself. Where can I have this permanent substance? So actually, these are all the things I've eaten and these forming my body, all the ideas learning. Then, see, this is myself. This is actually media's causes condition. This is my. See? Then this self, Atman doesn't exist. It's an illusion to think. See? everything is the all assemblage of the components. See? Think about it. That's how he meditates. Then, so because of conditional arising, okay, this is conditional arising means assemblage of things coming from outside and forming here, like forming here. Then this is zero. This is zero. This is zero. This disappears here. Zero. This is Buddhist called. This is emptiness. See, because of causes condition. See, what I consider something substantial is that doesn't exist. It's zero. See, this empty. This empty. So Buddhist concept of emptiness means everything exists because of causes conditions. Thing does not exist by itself as something permanent, independent. This doesn't exist. Okay? This doesn't exist. Okay? So ephemeral, so changeable, so temporal. All our existence is temporal. Okay, temporary, ephemeral, phenomenal thing. Okay. Then he realized this selflessness. See, that's the emptiness, and this is the wisdom, first wisdom. And when he gained this wisdom, first wisdom, this insight into emptiness of the self. Okay? This was totally nullified or empty. Okay, so this is the first wisdom. This is the 6 parameter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the 6 parameter practices and this 6th item, okay, giving, discipline, patience, effort, samadhi, and wisdom. Well, this is the wisdom we're talking about. First wisdom. This is called prajna. See, many of may think this is Buddhism teaches this wisdom alone. No. If you just have this wisdom, you could end up in becoming Hinayana Buddha. That's what I told you. Shakyamuni attained this. He was so happy. Now I'm liberated from this Atman. So Atman was called my attachment to something substantial, something fixed, was the cause of suffering. Now I'm totally liberated. I'm so happy. So Shakyamuni was so happy here. So and he enjoyed his samadhi of selflessness. And he was enjoying peace of mind, and he thought he could die with it. And so when the Brahma God came and asked him to go back to teach, he said, no, I don't like to do that. That was his initial response. But later he changed his mind, and he crossed this line, okay, and he decided to go back. Then what happened? Shakyamuni started to have second wisdom. Okay? This is empty. Okay? This is insight into the emptiness of the self. Okay, and he was so happy, being liberated from it. Okay, so himself becomes zero and empty. Then he gradually thought about this. Okay, and this emptiness was not a vacuum. Okay? And he realized, yes, my wrong self is emptied, becomes zero, okay, nullified. But come to think of it, I still have myself here, okay? What is myself here? And he realized, okay, that real content of his self here was that this wrong self was emptied, but he realized this is the true self, through the content of true self, like my body, my mind. See, this my self. See, content of myself is all the things and the people outside myself. They are the content of myself. See, wrong self was empty, but he discovered true self. True self consists of all the things and people that exist outside. See, because of conditional arising, this was negated, but because of conditional arising, myself, the whole bunch of myriad of things are forming myself. He realized this is my true self. Then how can I be removed? How can I be just removed from the people out there, suffering people, all kinds of people there, the things that exist outside myself, trees and the mountains and the rivers and the grasses, these things are part of me. And you see, we cannot exist even a few minutes without the heat of the sun, without the air, without water. See, these things are part of you. See? All these things are forming you. You cannot be separate. You cannot separate yourself from things. Real content myself are all humanity. Then how can we just enjoying my individual peace of mind sitting here? Something wrong. See, so he felt, see, now I have to go back and share my wisdom with them and share suffering with them. See, and so the view of himself changed. Okay, and here he was enjoying this emptiness of mind, selflessness, but he discovered true self. Then he cannot tell but stand up, and going back to the world of self. See, this is a second wisdom. See? Because of the truth of conditional arising, he first gained insight into the unreality or emptiness of the wrong self. Because of the same truth, because of the truth of the conditional arising, same truth he discovered. His true self is so rich. He's one with the whole humanity. See? So how can I just be separated from humanity, just enjoying my individual peace of mind? I cannot do that. See? So my liberation should be their liberation. Their liberation should be my, see? They are me, I am they. See? Oneness, this realization. Myself is others are the content of all sentient beings. They are me. I am they. Oneness between self and others. See? This is the second wisdom. This is very important. See? When Shakyamuni had this insight into the oneness between self and others, see? No distinction between inside and outside. See? No duality between subject, object. No duality between self and other. This myself, everything outside me, I'm there. See? So if they are crying, I'm crying. See? My happiness is a happiness. See? So he just couldn't just sit still and enjoy his individual happiness. See? You understand this same truth taught the emptiness of self and the richness of the self. And so he went back, okay? So this is called the jnana wisdom. Okay? This is the wisdom. And Mahayana Buddhism talks about 10 stages, okay? This is the 7th stage, 8, 9, 10, okay? So if you have only this, you have the danger of becoming Hinayana Buddha, see? So this crossing this line, okay? Standing up, going back to peace here, okay? This is actually Dharmakara symbolizes this spirit, okay? That's why, we read in the Tambutsuge Dharmaka, see, I will go back to the world of suffering. I don't mind, see, sharing suffering with people. Even if I were to stay in the midst of the worst hell, see, if some people are suffering, see, in the hell, I would be willing to go there, see, and share their suffering with. I would share they're suffering with me. See, this is, and so you say this is a wisdom. Okay, this is called wisdom, and this is called wisdom, or I should say compassion. Compassion. This is a wisdom, but this is the compassion wisdom. See? So the Buddhism talks about wisdom and compassion. See? But the Buddhism, it's very important, okay? This compassion, called compassion here, it's a oneness with people, no duality between the self and other, see? Being one with them, emphasizing with people, okay? Identify oneself with other people. That's compassion. See, that's compassion. So, so we say wisdom and compassion. But this, in Buddhism, compassion is another form of wisdom. Okay, this is very important. Okay? This Christian love is not necessarily connected with wisdom, but the Buddhist compassion is always wisdom. Okay? This is a wisdom, Prajna. This is a compassion wisdom. Okay? Sometimes we say wisdom, compassion, self-benefiting, others benefiting. See? Okay, let me, as a summary, let me read, okay. Now let me explain this side, okay? This side. The called subsequently acquired wisdom. You understand why subsequently acquired? Because this basic wisdom was acquired first. Okay? And in addition to that, after that insight, Shakyamuni subsequently acquired this wisdom. Okay, so that's named that way. Okay, this wisdom means that Shakyamuni understood the same truth. Same truth, the truth of conditional arising as the truth of oneness between the self and others. I and all sentient beings are one and same. I am they are me. So Dharmakara says, if all sentient beings, all others are not saved, I am not saved. See? So Dharmakara vow is talking about it. See? This is the Buddhahood. See, Dharmakara is identify himself, completely identify himself with others. If others are saved, I am saved. If others are not saved, I am not saved. Because I and others, their self, others benefiting is my benefit. My benefiting is others' benefit. See? This is called great compassion. See? So you understand 18th vow is the most important vow because in this vow we can see the peak of this wisdom or compassion wisdom. Okay. So knowing this, see, two types of wisdom, so important. Okay. This and let me go to the next page, top of page 6. Okay. And here we have this Samantabhadra practice. Okay. And Samantabhadra practice, I mentioned this before, okay? So these are 6 parameters, okay? 6 parameters. You have heard of this, but you haven't heard much about this. But these 8, 9, 10, these are called the Samantabhadra practices. 3 types of practices here, okay? 3 types of practice here. Traveling to the 10 directions, traveling to the 10 directions. For what reason is the Bodhisattva going to 10 directions? First, worshipping, visiting and worshipping all Buddhas. Okay? Worshipping and respecting all Buddhas. And second is enlightening all sentient beings. These three practices. That is this, traveling 10 directions. This is worshipping, not visiting Buddhas, worshipping Buddhas and enlightening sentient beings. These three. Okay? This is called the Samantha Butler practice. See, this is so important. So important. The jnana wisdom is a positive wisdom that transforms the negative into the positive. And I spelled out Samantha Butler practices are the contents of the 8th, 9th, and 10th stages. 2 types of wisdom and the 2 types of practices. Okay, 6 parameters designed to perfect this wisdom. These Samantha Butler practices are designed to perfect this 10th wisdom, jnana, compassion wisdom, compassion wisdom. Okay, now let us go back to the this Tambutsuge, okay, Tambutsuge. Dharma kara, in the first verse, okay, okay, Dharmakara praised the wonderful bodily features of the Buddha. Okay, the shining face of the Buddha is glorious. Okay, and then second verse, okay, 3rd, 4th line of the second verse, great voice of the enlightened one resounds throughout the 10 regions. Okay, so praise it is the speech action. Okay, bodily action, speech action, then mental action. So he gets deeper into the teacher's Buddha's mind, and he discovered these 6 parameters. Okay, so see, Dharmakara is meeting with the Buddha. I just here. Dharmakara is praising this teacher. See, teacher, you are performing these 6 parameter practices. Okay, see here. This is a see. Buddha is performing bodhisattva practices. Okay, it's very important. Okay, usually 6 parameter practices are bodhisattva practices. These are the practice for those who want to become a Buddha. But here in this larger sutra, okay, Buddha is performing these practices. Okay, and the next verse says he meditates. Okay, he meditates deeply and directly on the oceanic dharma of. See, meditate on Buddhas. See, this meditate on Buddhas. First line meditate and second line Buddhas. This was the Nembutsu. See, you teacher, you are doing Nembutsu. You are doing Nembutsu. See, that is this practice. Worship. See, going out 10 directions and worship and praise. See, do Nembutsu to the Buddha. Here, Buddha, you are doing Nembutsu. Here, so teacher is doing these 2 practices. Okay, and throughout this, Dharmakara is praising, your face is full of radiance, light, radiance. See, this is the main theme. See, that's what the Dharmakara is praising. See, this brilliant wisdom. Okay. Then finally, see, verse 4. See, his meritorious achievements are vast. His wisdom, okay, wisdom is, so referring to these 2 wisdom, you have this prajna and jnana. Okay? Your wisdom is deep and sublime. His light, this same thing, wisdom and the light, the same thing, with awe-inspiring glory, shakes the universe of 1,000 miles. See, so this wisdom is the theme of this sutra. I said wisdom is the protagonist in this story. Okay, so unless you know the meaning of wisdom, doesn't make sense. Okay, then see, Dharmakara says, aspire I to become a Buddha exactly like you. Here, see, this Buddha, see, my teacher is perfecting this. See, endlessly perfecting this. That's what is teaching. See, this Buddha is not this kind of Buddha. See, Lokeshvara Raja means he has total freedom here. See, Loka means total freedom in this world. That's the name of the Buddha. See, so this is a Buddha who is willing to go there and keep deepening wisdom and compassion eternally. And see, this Buddha is staying here, keeping away from suffering. See, he is away from samsara and he's enjoying nirvana. See, this is Hinayana Buddha. Mahayana Buddha is going there, wisdom and wisdom, compassion, wisdom. See, this is the main place that Buddha wants to go. That Lokeshivara Raja explained. Name means he is total freedom here. He is freely living here among people, sharing suffering and joy with them. He totally identify himself with these people. Okay, that's kind of Buddha. Ananda is seeing. Sorry, Dharmakara is seeing. Then he says, I aspire to become a Buddha exactly like you. See, so, and number 5, see, since Dharmakara said, I will become a Buddha exactly like you, number 5, he talks about 6 parameter practices. Like you, I will perform these practices, 6 practices here, okay? Discipline, giving, and mind control is not good word, like mind harmony, and discipline, moral virtues, discipline, patience, and effort making, and meditation, and wisdom. All 6 are here. See? Teacher, you are performing the same practice. So I want to become a Buddha exactly like you. So I will perform the same practices. Okay. Then I vow that when I become a Buddha, I shall carry out the promise everywhere, and to all fear-ridden beings shall I give great peace. Okay. Then number 6 and 7. Okay. Number 6 and 7. 6, see, this verse 6 is talking about this practice. Okay? This practice. This and 10. The 6th verse, this is the 6th verse. This is the 7th verse. Okay? Do you remember what is the practice here? Traveling 10 directions, worshipping Buddha, visiting those Buddhas, worshipping and respecting them. Okay, worshipping Buddhas. Here, this. That's what the 6th verse says. 6th verse says, even though there are Buddhas 1,000 million kotis in number. So even if there are Buddhas as many as sand grains of Ganges River, and multitude sages countless as the sand of Ganges River, I shall make offering. See, this is the expression. The Japanese word is kuyo. Kuyo, K-U-Y-O. Okay. The Sanskrit word is puja. P-U-J-A. Puja. This literally giving offerings, but giving offering is one of the many practices that kuyo means. The Japanese word kuyo means visiting a teacher, worshiping him, serving him, praising him, all kinds of activity associated with the action of the student. Okay, so not only offering or giving offerings, that's part of it. Okay, the translator has just this limb, but I would translate this visiting the teacher and worshiping him, or studying under him is the most important meaning of this kuyo. Okay, kuyo means listening to the teacher's teaching and learning those teachings. Okay, that's the most important part of this. Yeah, okay. Giving offering is only one part of it. But this is talking about this kuyo practice. Okay? Giving offering and worshiping, praising teacher, serving him, and listening to him and studying under him. All these are contained in this word, okay, kuyo. And so that's what that's how he wants to receive this wisdom. That's the only way we can receive wisdom, meeting a teacher, worshiping him, and listening to him. Okay, so see, even though there are Buddhas 1,000 million kotis number, and multitudes of great sages, countless as sands, I shall make offering to all those Buddhas. I shall seek the supreme way resolutely and tirelessly. See, this is with Dharma teachers doing the same thing, worshiping Buddhas, thinking of them, doing nembutsu. This is doing nembutsu, okay? Worshiping, respecting teachers, okay? And Dharmakara. Then number seven, yeah. Do you remember what this strategy? Enlightening all sentient beings. In this practice, he received the wisdom, okay, from the Buddha. By listening and learning from him, he received the wisdom. Then this wisdom increases in his being. Light, see, radiance increases in his being. Then you can enlighten. See, if you don't have light, you cannot enlighten other people. See, you must. So this is the process. You receive light, wisdom, and you share light, wisdom with other people here. That's the number seven. Even though the Buddha lands as innumerable as the sand of the Ganges, and other regions and worlds are also without number, my light, see here, this is the light, wisdom he received from many Buddhas. My light shall reach everywhere. I will illumine, expel the darkness of the deluded people. I will expel the darkness of the deluded people, okay? My light shall reach everywhere, pervading all those lands, such being the result of my efforts, the result of my effort. My glorious power will be immeasurable. Dharmakara becomes a Buddha by the name of limitless light. See? The name of the Buddha, Dharmakara, becomes is Amitabha, Amitabha, limitless light, limitless wisdom. You see? So you must know the meaning of this wisdom. This is wisdom. This is the second type of wisdom. This is the wisdom. This is the compassion. So he limits, limitless wisdom, limitless. Eternally, Dharmakara says, I will eternally engage. I will never become a Buddha who is complacently sitting on a pedestal. I will be working forever for those people who are in the worst place suffering. I will become them. I become them. Their suffering is my suffering. See, I will be saved with them, together with them, together with them. I become them. See, this is a great compassion, limitless wisdom. So this is limitless wisdom, limitless compassion here. Wisdom, limitless compassion. See? Unless you gain insight into these two types of wisdom, your Buddhism does not become Mahayana Buddhism. Maybe Hinayana Buddhism. If you think there's only prajna, then that's you might end up in becoming Hinayana Buddha. Okay, this whole story of Dharmakara, his worship of the teacher. Well, I want to become a Buddha exactly like you. What does it mean? See, out of this is more important. This is why I should say that equally important. Okay, this is the basic wisdom. If you don't have this basic wisdom, if you are not emptied, if your wrong self is not empty, how can your true self be realized? True self is encompassing everybody, everything, because your wrong self is empty. Only the emptied self, emptied container can contain new stuff. If the emptiness is not realized, the cup has to be empty so that it be filled with something very rich. See, emptiness is necessary for the cup to be filled with vital stuff, creative stuff. See, that's what these two wisdom means. Okay, so then here you understand. See, this wisdom. You don't know these two wisdom. You cannot understand this Tambutsuge. See, read this Tambutsuge talking about the two types of Buddha, two types of wisdom, two types of practices. See, 6 practices to perfect this wisdom, and Samantabhadra practices to perfect this wisdom, compassion. See? And Dharmakara finally become a Buddha by the name of limitless light, limitless compassion. See? This is Mahayana. See, Mahayana. And okay, let me read that remaining part of these verses. We haven't finished verse 8, 9, 10, okay? Oh, now verse 8, he talks about the Pure Land, okay? Pure Land. And no, 40, we are going to read the 48 vows next week, okay? All his 48 vows are designed to create a Pure Land. Okay? He has many desires. He said, I want to become Buddha. I want to save people. Okay, but most important desire Dharmakara has to create a place called Pure Land. Of course, this is a symbol for the sphere of wisdom. Okay, so the idea is this. Okay, the basic rationale for his desire to create Pure Land is this. Okay, he wants to have a place, learning place in the sense, learning place, sphere of wisdom. He wants all people want there without any conditions. See, so he wants to have such a wonderful, in essence, like a school. He wants to have nice school. Okay, so that everybody can enter there without any requirements, and everybody could easily attain this greatest achievement as soon as they get into this Pure Land. He wants to create this kind of place. See, this is the unique part of Dharmakara desire. Bodhisattvas create all kinds of vows. Okay, all bodhisattvas make vows, not only Dharmakara, but all bodhisattvas make. Mahayana bodhisattvas make vows. But uniqueness of Dharmakara's vows is that he wants to create a place, learning place, a school, where everybody can be born there. And as soon as they are born there, they immediately become full-fledged, what shall I say, person or achiever. Why? Because he creates a place where there are many wonderful teachers, Dharma friends there. So that's what he wants to create. See, that's why he talks about it. When I become a Buddha, my land shall be most exit. But if I translate that, see, I translate here. My land shall be the most important thing I want to create. See, this I think that's what the Dharmakara means. The most important desire I have is to create this land. My land shall be the most important thing. Okay? And its people wonderful. See, there are many wonderful seekers, learners there, passion seekers learn. So everybody who is born there is influenced by this passion of these people. See, this talking about Sangha, kind of ideal Sangha. See, if you meet a teacher, see, if you meet a real Buddhist teacher, okay, there is Sangha around. See, if you meet Amida Buddha, then there's a Sangha, Pure Land around the teacher. So around the real teacher, there are many wonderful Dharma friends. So if you meet a real teacher, you are born into his Pure Land, Sangha. Then you meet so many wonderful teachers. Then you make progress so quickly. It's not because you are talented or wise, doesn't matter. Anybody who are taken into this Sangha can make a tremendous progress because the environmental power of the Sangha is tremendous. See, he wants to create that kind of place. See, that is expediency of Dharmakara. That's the kind of thing. This is the Sangha. He wants to have this actualized in the historical. This is the transferring merit means transferring this Amida Buddhahood and Pure Land, the Pure Land, the country land and Buddhahood. He wants to actualize this in historical context in the person of Shakyamuni. The seat of enlightenment. Seat of enlightenment is that symbolized Amida's teaching activities. He sits on this seat of enlightenment and he gives sermons. See? So I will give wonderful talks to the people who arrive to the Pure Land or the learning center. then my land being nirvana itself. Okay? Actually, this translation of my land very near to the ultimate truth. Doesn't say itself. Okay? My land, pure land, is the place that could immediately take you to the ultimate attainment, ultimate Buddhahood. See? So being very close to nirvana will be beyond comparison. I take pity on the living beings, see, and resolve to save them all. He's talking about people outside Pure Land, okay? So if I have a wonderful place, many people want to be born into this place. That's called birth in the Pure Land, okay? And those who come from the 10 directions, people, that means people like us, Shinran identified himself with one of these people. He consider he's one of these people who are going to be born there, okay? And they will find joy and serenity of heart. Serenity of heart, Sanskrit word is prasada. This is shinjin, okay? It's translated as shinjin. So they have this shinjin and joy when they are born into the land. When they reach my land, they shall dwell in peace and happiness. Okay, now he talked about this importance of the Pure Land. Okay, then he concludes. Okay, he concludes this Tambutsuge verses, and he asks his teacher and all Buddhas in 10 directions to be his witness. Okay, I beg you, the Buddha, to become my witness and to vouch for the truth of my aspiration. Having now made my vows to you, I will strive to fulfill them. See? He is determined to perform these practices and become Buddha and create a wonderful Pure Land. See? He is asking his teacher to be witness. Then he also asks his Buddhas in 10 directions to be his witness. The world ones in the 10 directions have unhindered wisdom. I call upon those revered ones to bear witness to my intention. See, asking them to become witness is very important because our Buddhism could become very much subjective and we could be complacent with our own attainment, with our own understanding of Buddha Dharma. So that's a danger, okay? So you must have witnesses. They certify that your attainment is authentic, okay? Objectively accurate of the universal elements. That's very important. That's why Dharmakara is asking his teachers over the 10 directions to be his witness. And finally, this verse, okay? This verse, we discussed this, and Mary asked me a question about this verse. This is the concluding verse and talking about this. This is the most important aspiration to have. See? This compassion, others benefiting. This is the core, most important part of Dharmakara's aspiration, all kinds of desire. But see, this has something to do with 18th vow. Unless all sentient beings saved, I will not be saved. Their liberation is my liberation. If the one person remains to be suffering in the hell, I will go there and help him until he is saved. My salvation is not there. See? Their salvation is my salvation. We are saved simultaneously. My self-benefiting, others benefiting. They are me, I am they. This is second type of wisdom. Okay, let me read this and close my lecture. Okay, so even though I must remain in a state of extreme pain, even though I may remain in the worst hell, I will diligently practice. Practice means I identify myself with those suffering people, enduring all hardship with tireless. I will never regret it. This is very powerful and very good conclusion to what Dharmakara wants to say. Okay? He expressed not only his praise of the teacher. See, praising teacher is one thing. That's not good enough. praising must become his aspiration to emulate the teacher he's been praising. Okay? We could and should become Buddhas. That is the theme of the Mahayana Buddhism. Okay? That means this. Just enjoying individual peace of mind, individual happiness, individual peace of mind. See? As an escapist, that's the Hinayana Buddhahood. That's the worst type of Buddhahood. See? The Mahayana Buddhism is afraid that if you fall into this trap, that's worse. It's better than not studying Buddhism. It's better. Not studying Buddhism is better than attaining this kind of selfish, self-centered type of Buddhahood. Okay? But don't you think you're seeking this kind of happiness? All of us initially are all Hinayana Buddhists. Want to run away from the reality of self. We want to be happy, peaceful person. We are just seeking our individual happiness initially. That's what Shinran criticizes. And that's why Shinran considered the largest sutra most important, because this is the sutra that liberates us from our self-centered way of understanding Buddhism. Okay? That's what this, and that's the kind of Mahayana Buddhism that Ananda is seeing today for the first time, being shaken, okay, and asking, who are you, shaken? This story is answering this question, okay? Okay, as usual, I went over 5 minutes or so, as usual, and okay, let me conclude my talk, okay? Namandavatsu.